Well, here's the thing. Foundry has the ability to add character portraits, so Inkscape.
Ah.
It is perfectly logical that instead of doing anything with Foundry, I would switch over to an entirely different program and use that instead.
To make a character portrait so that you can add it to Foundry later.
Actually, I'm editing an open source image because that's faster.
Valid. Well, whenever people are ready, I'm actually probably at least remotely ready. There's that. There's
Well,
that important
I have pressed the
one.
record button. I should probably specify
You
that.
pressed the button.
I have.
Yes, you should specify. You should specify which button you have indeed pressed. And there's that. And there's that. And there's those. And let's see. I should probably get that other one. I don't need that window open. Hi, this is Beth, and I'm doing this GMing thing for a homebrew GURPS Star Wars campaign with Crash and Ellie and EO, and I do not have nearly the practice and professionalism that Crash does when he intros these things, but he gets to edit this, so hopefully he'll make it good. So, I think the traditional thing to do is go, what happened last time? And make the players tell me things.
I was called a professional. Actually, that did not happen. Not last time, anyway.
Professional something?
We left the atmosphere and opened a can with meat inside.
That is definitely in the running for things, how to describe things in the most misleading way possible, except for the part about leaving the atmosphere, which was indeed about accurate.
Give a correct summary while being very, very wrong. Or explain a movie poorly. I like the whole explain a movie poorly theme.
Yes, that's definitely explained the movie poorly.
There's the meat inside.
Mm-hmm.
I managed to unlock my ability to fly. I haven't been able to do it twice yet, but I'm sure if I keep jumping into the air, it'll happen eventually. This definitely has nothing to do with someone who is force sensitive feeling the need to use one hand to hug my face. Which may also have happened.
And making sure that you didn't dodge.
To be fair, I was very bad at dodging.
I may have picked up the Jawa.
With your mind.
The Jawa down.
They did. Eventually.
Yes.
After sucking basic from your mind.
Yes. And Jawa, which they didn't keep for a while. But I don't know that.
Right. Oh, that's right. I'm going to give everybody another character point for the last mission, just as yes, we did character interaction and set the stage. And I'm still trying to figure out how many character points per session I want to give you people, because GURPS does have interesting progression things, and if I give you too many points, you will be got too quickly. Been there, done that. Fortunately, none of you have 3rd edition style eidetic memory, because, wow, that would make your characters scary. So, you're in hyperspace.
How many points
is there anything?
Cost?
We do not have it in this.
That is 3rd edition, and and it costs between 30 points. It costs either 30 points or 60 points, if I recall correctly. And what it did is it provided a multiplier to all of your character points in mental skills.
And this is how we got Selene.
And this is going to be a prior campaign by weight and volume, because Selene had the 60-point version of eidetic memory. All of her mental skills were multiplied by 4. The points put into them, rather. Which meant that if she put in 1 point, it was the equivalent of putting in 4 points worth to get the skill level. And she had no interest in putting points into any skills except mental ones, obviously. She was kind of a wimp otherwise. Which meant that this is how we got things like computer programming 30. She also invented the next tech level of computer systems, but that is another campaign, another universe, another galaxy far, far away.
Well, not with that.
In this galaxy... Oh, God, don't do this to me. Don't do it. Don't tempt me.
Can I spend my character point?
Sure.
Okay.
I have ordered it to steal Jawa's. Or Jawa. I forget. Yeah, it looks like Jawa's.
It's pronounced Utini.
With you, everything is pronounced Utini.
Utini.
I increased my cooking by 1.
You were already good at cooking.
I was okay at cooking. Now I'm better at cooking. Yes.
Are cooking rolls intelligence-based?
Yes.
Oh, for God's sake.
I may or may not be better at cooking than you.
Ellie, can you send me another version of your character sheet? Because the one that had fill in the blanks that you had all filled in, it looks all nice and stuff, has mysteriously, upon being saved, closed, and opened again, lost all your skill levels. They're empty. Everything is empty.
Here you go.
Thanks. I'll keep this one on this thing. I don't wind it. Yes, I will allow it thing. Okay. And that has your improved cooking, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, good.
It was 12, now it's 13.
Decent. More decent. Right. Okay. All that's done. Let's see. Does anyone else have a point they desire to spend?
Not at this time. I mean, Utini. I'm already perfect. Also, I don't know how to edit my character sheet.
Always an interesting thing to have to think about, yes.
Well, while this game is going on, I'm looking at my PDF of my character that you made for me, and I'm looking at a JSON file because I can't edit character sheets in the GURPS add-on for Foundry for some reason. And I'm trying to focus more on the game.
Whoops.
So that means I'm glancing at this code thinking, I could probably change this. Wait, Beth is talking.
Sorry.
Why are you sorry? You're the one running the game. At least I'm not playing Minecraft and going into the nether.
With sound effects. Yes, we're in hyperspace, not the nether. Is there anything that you people want to do with hyperspace before we there's a word there. Actually get to Shaddaa? Or is everybody
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Well, canonically, I believe I ended the session by sitting with, I cannot pronounce his name correctly.
Zulrock.
That is
Zulrock.
not how it is pronounced.
It's Rocky.
Zul.
Rocky and I
Zulrock.
sat in one of the cargo bays or whatever, just making explosives for the fun of it. This
Yep, that's
one
what you
thermal detonates. This one melts electronics and makes the battery explode. This one is a fancy explosive. I call it a rotini cocktail because Russian generals don't canonically exist yet.
Come in. Sorry, I'm fighting with Yo's character sheet.
So yeah,
With
at this
mine?
point,
With yours.
Why are you fighting with mine?
It won't let me update the total points. I'll just have to remember.
Mom, it won't let you update the total points because those calculate automatically.
Oh, wait, I didn't enter those in even though they're in red. Duh. Well, that explains it.
I've texted it to you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I've got it. I just wrote notes on it. There. Now, okay, so Shaddaa, a greater hive of scum and villainy you will probably never find except maybe Hudda.
may I interject for one thing?
Yep.
There is a series of books by C.J. Cherry. They're great reads, but it's the Foreigner series.
Oh, gosh, yes, I love those.
And in that series, the main character, spoiler, ends up having property gifted to him, and that property is referred to as Najinda, which is very, very similar to this planet's name, and it's throwing me off constantly. I'm expecting us to land and see the entire place filled with ATV.
Yes, the ATV or ATV or however it's pronounced. No, I'm not stealing them.
Whatever
I love
you
them
do,
dearly,
don't
and-
cross the Assassin's Guild.
Or, oh God. How far in have you read Crash?
Of the books that have been published, only the most recent one hasn't been read by me yet.
Ah, okay. I mean, there's Crossing the Assassin's Guild, and there's Crossing the Assassin's Guild, and we're not going to go there because it's not a book review. So, Nar Shaddaa, the planet, one of the secondary planets of Huts, think like, well,
It's a moon of Shaddaa.
It's a moon of Shaddaa.
And it's like space Las Vegas and also the galaxy's biggest smuggling port.
But is it a forest?
No.
Is it
It
a
might
sand
once
moon?
You count skyscrapers as trees.
Let me put it this way. You know the song that goes, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot?
They
The
paved
Huts would pave and put up casinos and slums.
Oh wait, this is the Republic capital all over again.
Yeah, except instead of being just this built-up city world, it's a built-up city world like Las Vegas with casinos and cantinas. And we all know that cantinas have private rooms for private dances. And
Whatever happens here stays here unless you buy something, in which case we are taking it with us.
Uh-huh. And to make sure it stays here, some people do need to make sure that they have a quick stop in Med Bay or a local hospital at the spaceport, and make sure that everything they got there that they didn't want stays there.
Look, those cybernetic implants were like that when I found them.
Yes, but we're the social diseases.
I don't deal with
That's
that.
why I say some people. Yeah, exactly. You are a pure and innocent Jawa who is not likely to be enthralled by the lure of cantina dancers, which is a good thing because, wow, there's a lot of stuff down there. But first of all,
If it doesn't explode, I'm probably not going to be interested.
indeed. However, what is interesting to some people, i.e. the person flying the ship, is going to be just, you get into this proper space, you contact flight control because even Huts have flight control. They
Do we
don't
fly
like
casual?
it. Can you fly casual?
I don't know.
Actually, that's a
I'm
question.
not the pilot.
Can the pilot fly casual?
That's a 9
Yes,
on the roll.
easily.
Yep.
Piloting's a 14.
So it makes it by 5.
But
That's pretty.
Beat it by 5. Yeah.
You're flying casual. You got a flight plan, which is at least theoretically not going to intersect anybody else's flight plan, and that's the only reason that they have traffic control. So,
I mean,
Worlds,
it would save them money on the nightly fireworks show.
Unfortunately, this is a Hut world, and some of the nightly fireworks show might be crucial things like food and booze. They don't really want their food turning into fireworks. It's not edible.
Not with that attitude.
Yes, so the Java who thinks everything should explode would have that attitude.
Not everything should explode, but everything can explode. Especially when you have the overconfidence trait and an IQ of 15 and a 20 in
And
explosive.
and a 20 in explosives.
Stand back. That Jawa has a Reuben sandwich. It's a Reuben sandwich. That specific Jawa has a Reuben sandwich. Stand back. Oh no, he pulled out the little toothpick with the olive in it. Run!
Once you pull the toothpick, Mr. Reuben Grenade is no longer your friend.
Cut to outside the cantina, and you just see all the windows blow out with pickles flying everywhere.
I'm a delicious bomb. I'm a delicious bomb.
Take 3 bites and then throw. Beth is never going to get to the plot.
No, I'm never going to get to the plot. This is all your fault.
You're welcome.
Indeed. Okay, so there are various Hut territories within any Hut location, world, moon, Each of them, the large ones, tends to have a spaceport, or at least a flat field where you can land.
Thank goodness
Each
we'd be landing on a
spaceport-
rooftop.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, you might. It might be a rooftop, honestly. Each spaceport has its own customs because Huts kind of object to people bringing in explosives to blow them up or bringing in certain goods and services that they aren't getting a cut of.
What if they're explosives not meant to blow?
That falls under goods and services that they're not getting a cut of.
What if I share?
That's what customs is for, to make you share, but not the explosives part where they're explosions.
No, I'm not pulling the pin first. That's bad for business.
Right. Well, customs gets their cut.
Okay.
So,
how big a cut are we talking about?
Well, they want to talk to the captain, which is basically a case of you land, you get told what landing pad to go to on this particular very tall, very sturdy skyscraper where, you go into one of the, there's a word for that, hangar bays on the side of it. And it's all the, standby for customs inspection.
It occurs to me that I should not be taking the lead because I'm impulsive, truthful, and overconfident.
Mm-hmm. And some people may actually understand
Jawa. Who only
Jawa.
has 2 of those 3.
Not the truthful. Captain Zisha?
I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted.
Uh-oh. What did we do?
Oh, nothing. I was just looking up something that's not in the core rules.
Oh, okay.
What's the question that I'm being asked?
So, you have been told to dock at a particular hangar bay, and unless you want to do something spiffy, I will be happy to let the prior piloting role serve for that.
I have no reason to want to do something spiffy.
Okay, so it's like, dock in hangar bay 75B and await the customs team. Customs team basically meaning people that at this particular space dock, they have their own set of rules and, things that you're supposed to pay taxes on, i.e. a standardized bribe to the hut group in charge of the segment of the planet.
Okay.
They are also going to ask what your business is in, business, pleasure, what cut they should be expecting. This is all code, you understand, for how much money are we going to be able to extort from you.
Sure.
I will offer them 3 rotini cocktails today.
In exchange for money tomorrow?
A hamburger next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do say that I'm here to deliver. I think I say exactly that I'm here to deliver cargo for Grex out of the hut.
This gets acknowledged with a slightly disappointed air because you can't gouge huts as much as you can gouge other people. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try it once.
I figure I'm charging him 15% extra so that I can tip customs 10%.
That's pretty typical, yeah, actually.
Like, this is just how you do business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bribe, it's a gratuity. They do a fine job and they're not paid enough.
So, okay, you've got some people showing up to do the customs inspection. You've landed, you lower the hatch. There's the people showing up in their little customs uniforms, and it's an interesting group. It's the aliens. You've got one of the Clatoonians who's, well, basically they kind of look like an English bulldog, only not quite as wrinkly because the wrinkles are all cartilagey instead of floppy. And you got one of those Rhodians with the great big faceted eyes. And you got, oh, hey, that's a blue Twi'lek. Really dark blue. And they have clipboards. The Twi'leks are looking around with this, oh, hey, this is fascinating. This is cool. And the Clatoonian is stumping along with this, yeah, this is a job. And the Rhodian, that's what they're called, the big old bug eyes.
Yes.
Yep, is the one who actually looks like he knows what he's doing. It's like, so they come up, and the Rhodian does the talking, which is the which you can translate because I'm sure you have a translator. If they don't, he does. Honestly, it's probably in Huttese. You can understand it.
Yeah.
Huttese is a standard trade language on this.
Don't say.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of one of those weird things. You would never think that a giant slug creature that owns a good fraction of the planet would that race would impose their language on everybody else. Oh wait, Huts. Like the Rhodian holds out a hand and says translated Huttese, we here do inspection.
Is it a palm sideways hand or a palm up hand?
Sort of diagonally. It could be shake hands, it could be give me credits.
In that case, I shake his hand, and when he pulls it away, he has credits in his hand.
Nod, tucks those away. Yes, do inspection now, must walk hallway, shrug. Sort of head towards what's probably a security camera. They have to at least pretend to do the inspection.
Hey, no problem.
By the way, for the record, the majority of my more interesting tinkerings have been put back together as the nondescript items that they were before I tinkered with them.
Does this include the stasis tube?
The stasis tube has all of the upgrades / downgrades that it got during the last session. I have not touched it since we disconnected the power source from the ship and put things back together properly. It still has the holographic image of Rocky in there.
Tuned up to look more intimidating.
To be fair. Anyway. I was
Dvorak is blissfully ignorant of the nickname you were referring to them with.
I can't pronounce it any other way. I tried and failed. I was turning up the creepiness level, and I said, say when. Nobody said when. And at that exact moment, everyone in the room could speak Jawa. Or at least understand it.
In other words, whatever is in there looks like some extremely terrifying, spiky monstrosity.
Showmanship.
Terrifying, spiky monstrosity.
Acting.
Acting?
Sorry, it's an old John Lovitz bit.
I didn't catch the old what bit?
It's an old John Lovitz bit.
John Lovitz. Okay. All right. So you've got your crew of customs inspectors going through. 3 of them, I would like you to make a smuggling roll.
Okay.
Anyone who wishes to can make a smuggling roll. If you don't have it, then I believe it's like going to be IQ -5. Yeah.
For me,
Zwolrak has
10.
no idea how to make a smuggling roll.
Okay, that's an 8.
Stay perfectly still in the smuggling compartment that we had you sit in before they came in.
Oh, have you stuffed poor Zwolrak into the smuggling compartment?
But one of them, the one that's behind the bathroom, because that one was not factory issue. Technically, none of them. But this one in
Are we
particular.
talking about roll rocks or smuggling compartments?
Yes.
Won't I be less suspicious if I am outside of the smuggling compartment?
Utini.
Yeah, I have no reason to hide Zwolrak.
Fair
It's
point.
true.
I don't think I have one.
Also, if anyone is going to shove Zwolrak, did I say it right this time?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay. It's always going to be a percentage of correctness. It will never reach 100. If anyone attempts to shove Zwolrak into a smuggling compartment, I have a feeling that they would find themselves in the smuggling compartment, perhaps also cube-shaped.
That is very likely.
You can try to persuade Zwolrak into getting into a smuggling compartment if you wish.
I think the fact that they're maybe several times my height and could turn me into a cube are very strong rebuttals for any logical argument I would be able to make.
How tall are Jawas?
I mean, I figure that they're about, 3 to 4 feet normally.
Zwolrak's about 6'5" or so.
Jawas are meter high.
Yep, 3 feet. 4 feet would be a really tall Jawa.
So, somewhat over twice your height.
Yeah, there may have been discussion about a smuggling compartment in hiding, but it did not end with you in the smuggling compartment.
Unless someone succeeded in a fast talk roll.
No.
None of you have fast talk. Interesting.
The whole could be turned
No,
into
wait,
a
when it's-
cube thing is a very strong argument.
Hey,
Zolrock has fast talk. Yeah, okay, Zolrock has fast talk. You cannot fast talk Zolrock. Zolrock will fast talk you. Okay, so, all right, you've got Zolrock in a passenger compartment or following the people around or what?
Zolrock did make their self-control roll not to cause a scene with xenophilia, but I do not think they are going to avoid following the customs people around to an extent.
That is certainly going. I'm just going to. The customs people are not happy about being followed around. They are definitely being extremely twitchy about being followed around. It's like there's a reasonably tall alien who is not one of the really common aliens following them around. And is Zisha going to be also following them around as the interested party?
Actually, if Wolrock is following them around, then I'm not going to.
Okay.
I am fulfilling my promise to assist with the running of the ship.
My logic here is they're not going to try anything with the big scary person looking over their shoulder.
They're not going to try anything twice, at least.
This is true.
They're making the occasional dark, grumpy comment, mostly to each other, and they're poking around in the cargo bay, which I presume that's where you have the stasis tube, or did Rotini put it somewhere else? There's not really a lot of places to put things.
Well, it's what we're getting paid to deliver. That's not something I'd be hiding. That's, hey, this is what we're giving to the hut. You can mess with it, but then give us your name first, and we will tell the hut who is specifically was messing with it.
They're going to go prowling around the cargo hold. You have like other crates and whatnot of trade goods mostly, not necessarily things that you have a contract to deliver. And
my bottle cap collection.
Making notes on the clipboard, going what the heck at the bottle cap collection.
The bottle caps will also explode.
They're not touching them.
I didn't tell them they explode, but...
No, but they're not touching them anyway. I mean, if you touch things, people accuse you of stealing them. It's a delicate thing to be a customs inspector when someone has bribed you correctly. They touch things when you don't bribe them.
I stand protectively near my bottle cap collection.
They note down that you have one. They note down that there's a Jawa on the ship.
Utini.
They make sure... Utini. You are told by the Clatunian, don't cause trouble in Huttese.
Utini. And I give them a thumbs up. And hope to whatever gods are out there that a thumbs up does not mean something insulting in their culture.
Rotini, what did they say?
Utini. Which is an accurate representation of what they said to me. Don't cause trouble. Does this mean that they do smell?
Presumably it means that Zolrock smells a little, so to speak.
Okay, so I made references to 2 different series so far of literary note. How many more can I throw in here?
Lots, probably. They get around to the cargo. They go around the cargo bay. They get to the stasis chamber. They seem to be a bit intrigued by the stasis chamber and are waving their clipboards around, and the Twi'lek is gesticulating a lot with her Leku, which are the long head tail things. One is a Lek, 2 are Leku, multiple are Leku. I don't think there's a 3 Leku. It's Twi'lek. It's 2 Leks. It's 2 Leku. I mean, their name is extremely...
One Freyta. He has 4.
So that means a quad Lek?
No, he's still a Twi'lek, but he's also only got 4 fingers for some reason. So I think he's a subspecies.
Makes sense.
Just watch out
Makes
for
a lot of sense.
That's a Nautilin.
Mm-hmm. Like, Yeah, Kit Fisto, the Nautilin, with such a grin. I love that grin. Never mind. Kit Fisto is off somewhere else in the galaxy. He's not even born yet.
Yeah, he won't be born for some 3,000 years.
Right. That's another part of space-time, especially the time. So they're very interested in this, and they are. Yep, that's an Nautilin. That's Kit Fisto.
That grin.
Grin. Yes, he has a happy grin. It's even happier in one of the Clone Wars episodes where he's underwater blowing things up and he's watching the explosion with this. Yeah. Also, he's shirtless.
The inspectors and the stasis tube.
Yes.
Shirtless Kit Fisto. The only one not wearing a proper shirt here is me.
Indeed. Shirtless Nautilins. Anyway, so the customs people are turning. The Rodian is turning to Rotini and looking between Rotini and Zwolrak. Sorry.
That is the cargo that we are delivering.
I assume that is in Galactic Basic.
That is basic.
Mm-hmm.
It occurs to me that because the creepiness factor has been turned up to 11 on the illusion inside, there is the resemblance between the person speaking and the person in the stasis tube is now only a passing resemblance.
Mm-hmm. Just gonna roll 3d6 here. Well, that is a crit success.
What were they trying to do? And do I need to earn my bottle cap collection?
Possibly. It depends. The Rodian is has turned to speak to people, perhaps, pauses, stares at Zwolrak, stares at the image in the stasis chamber, stares at Zwolrak, back at the stasis chamber, back to Zwolrak.
Utini, I know what's going on here. You're going to say they all look alike, don't you?
Zwolrak grins at them, slowly and toothily.
Are you making an intimidation roll?
Yes.
Look, you can't just say that all of the Sith look alike.
That makes by 7.
Okay. Let me double check what one should be tending to do. Why do I not have that thing open? Why is that not open? Where is my... That's by 7. Okay. And I'm just going to make a nice little roll here. By 7, you say?
I have a 16 intimidation.
That will do it. Yeah. So you are definitely intimidating. The three of them all sort of cluster together in a more defensive attitude, and the Twi'lek is putting her hand in her pocket. It's not clear why she's putting a hand in a pocket, but it's a very fast stick hand in pocket kind of move.
I put one hand in my bottle cap collection.
Oh, you noticed that too? We thought that was pretty weird. I'm not going to lie. When
you're on the cameras.
Sorry,
Zisha, are you there? Or are you on the cameras?
I'm wandering into the scene at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, when Rotini noticed that the projector was down and fixed it, we were not sure what was going to come up, but it was pretty weird that it looks like our other crew member.
Can we get a fast talk or acting or other persuasiveness roll here out of Zisha?
Yeah, I wish I had realized that I didn't have fast talk. I went right from fast draw to filch.
What is fast talk? Actually, no, I can't do fast talk because I'm truthful.
You can talk truth very quickly, but yeah, you'd have to be fast talking true things. Zisha, you do have some unspent points on your character sheet, and if you want to add fast talk to some extent, that's a reasonable thing for you to have in your line of work.
Yeah, I might do that.
Okay. How many points are you going to put into it? 1 or 2?
I'm spending 1 right now.
Okay. And it goes. So that gives you 1 point. What level does that get it at?
It gets it at IQ -1, so 12.
Okay.
And that's a 9.
Okay, let me do I believe that one I believe Fast Talk does contests, if I'm correct.
I have to look.
Okay. I have the wrong one open. Where's my characters? Yes, there we are. Smooth operator thing. Come on, scroll.
It doesn't say it's a contest?
Talking things interesting. Have Fast Talk get +2 on all reaction rolls if you just talk at level 20. Modifiers. It's okay. Ask for details. Approach may modify the roll. That's an influence skill roll. Let me just. I love that PDFs are searchable because wow, that's kind of useful. Okay. Influence rolls, page 359. That's in this book. There we are. Let's make it bigger for my tired eyes. Influence skill versus subject's will. Well, that means I need to make a roll too, doesn't it? Yes, it does. D6. Slowly and somewhat unwillingly, the Rhodian nods with all of the they seem to be buying it, possibly, mostly. Says in the somewhat.
So the theory is, well, my theory anyway, that the hollow projection is supposed to disguise whatever goes in there. So, it looks like there's this big scary thing in there. And if you wake it up, then you're going to be in real trouble. When, maybe it's just like food rations. That's the best thing I can come up with.
Empty, pointing at the stasis tube. Empty, just projection.
We're pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, we can open it. Rotini, do you want to open it?
I walk over and open it and show them the lifelike hologram of a big scary Sith.
The Rhodian puts a hand in and waves through the hologram, which just makes little fuzzy things along the edges like holograms always do in movies, because otherwise how else would you know that you were sticking your hand through a hologram, huh? Sort of waves it around. Checking for contraband. Pat, 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 pat.
Okay, you got to do your job.
Yes, do job. This is undoubtedly a more clever person than their limited huddies. Finally, after patting around the thing for a while, sort of, straightens up. All right, all fine here. We go now. When delivering. This is addressed to Zisha mostly. After all, talking to Jawa is always,
Utini.
As soon as possible, I think. Unless you have other instructions.
Just customs.
All right, well, if you're done, then we can be on our way.
To file our report now. They will start heading out. They start heading out. You have successfully not had any contraband found. Fascinating.
I mean, they did see my bottle cap.
Is your bottle cap collection contraband?
Did I talk about how they explode?
I
didn't talk about how they explode in front of them.
That is wise.
And technically, it's not the bottle caps that explode. The explosive is in the middle of the bottle cap collection. The bottle caps are the shrapnel.
I'm concerned about how much thought you've put into this.
Explosives 20.
That would be a fair amount of thought, yeah.
That was far easier than making each individual bottle cap be an explosive device.
Although I'm sure that you could do that if you got bored. Mm-hmm.
Well, there was that one Saturday, but it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that unless.
Okay. They hasten off the ship, and once they're off the ship, they are basically walking out of your hangar bay as quickly as possible without breaking into a run, and go through the doors, and the doors close behind them. To the great, the elevator section of the hangar bay. It's like, you go through there and there's personal elevators and there's cargo elevators, and
An elevator, it's basically elevators, which just take you to other elevators.
Pretty much. I mean, they probably built this giant skyscraper of a spaceport, starport. This place where they put the ships to extract the appropriate taxes and bribes. It's tall. It's a skyscraper. It probably got built in stages. There probably are places where you literally cannot get there from here. You have to go to some other place first. So, what are your plans for moving the stasis tube? I mean, it came in a burlap sack. I don't know if you want to just...
Let me get the burlap sack out of the... I can speak. Let me get the burlap sack out of the dryer. Wait, I didn't read the tag. Oh, I hope it didn't shrink.
It did not.
Okay. I thought I'd have to make a roll for something.
No, the GM decided to roll for amusement's sake.
Okay.
You have a clean, or at least dry, burlap sack? Did you run to the wash first?
Well, yes. I know that for some people, warm equals clean. I'm not one of those people.
Actually, yeah, let's put it on the burlap sack before we put it on the hover dolly.
All right, so we put it in the burlap sack. We tie up the top of it. It was like that when we found it.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I climb on top of the whole thing and pretend I'm jousting. Well, not jousting, but I do point in the direction that Zisha was planning on taking us anyway.
Okay.
Utini! Which translates to
everybody
Sally
remember
Forth.
Where we parked the ship.
I think it was 75B.
Yes. Hangar 75B.
Rolrock, are you staying behind or are you coming with us?
I believe I should not be there for the delivery, but I would hate to simply wait on the ship this whole time.
Utini, which translates to, it would be kind of silly to see the Hutt's face when they see your face after looking at your face. But we understand.
Well, then, you can do whatever you like, and if you want to keep coming with us, we'll be back here in an hour.
The ship will need to take on new supplies, will it not? Perhaps I should go in search of those.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like that plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Let's do it.
Though I will
You're going to need some credits.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll hand over credits and a communicator.
Thank you. I definitely know how to use this.
Is that a truthful statement? I feel like we need to ask that question.
I will say that it was not meant to be convincing, no. Also, I apologize for the echo.
Okay, I'm going to set up your communicator to auto-dial me. Just push the button and call me.
Utini, that
Understood.
button. Not
Good
that
luck,
button.
Captain Zusha.
Utini, and if you run into trouble and you feel like you need to, I open up the compartment where the rechargeable battery is. There is another button. Utini, only if you really, really need to.
Understood.
The temptation to say that all that button does... The temptation to say that all that button does is play a siren sound is strong, but I don't want that to be canon.
But does it blow up?
I'm a 5-second bomb. I'm a 5-second bomb. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just kidding. I'm a communicator.
My headcanon for it is it itself does not have added explosives. What it does is cycle through the power cell to make that explode. So it's not like throwing a live grenade, but it'll make a sound. If someone's holding it when it goes off, it'll do some damage to them. But mostly it's a distraction.
Mm-hmm. Is anyone going to ask about all of that?
I feel that it is self-explanatory.
Hey, we spent a lazy afternoon building bombs.
Engineer Rotini is very good at explosives.
Indeed. Okay. Yes. Excellent. Don't mind me just making a few little things. Okay, so heading down the elevator, I assume you're going to try and catch actually, are you going to be catching a cargo taxi to the place, or are you going to sort of be walking it over through the streets and whatnot. One is cheaper, one is faster.
Look, I've already got a ride.
True. This is up to Zisha.
I prefer the hover taxi, the cargo taxi, as
Okay.
long as it's got room for the hover dolly.
Well, you have to call one of those. There's probably little consoles down at the bottom of the skyscraper, or at least on certain levels of it, in the category of, yeah, people take cargo off their ships, and sometimes they're taking small enough cargo that they need basically a U-Haul taxi.
Yep.
Or a taxi haul.
Utini, which translates to remember to check the mileage and the gas gauge and take 3D video of the entire contraption, because they will try to stiff you when you return it and say that some of that damage wasn't there already.
Yeah, that's the point. Are you going to get one that you fly, or are you going to get one that is flown by a droid, or are you going to get one that's flown by a person?
I can drive it.
Okay, so you're directed to the banks of things, and you're told which one it is, and you have a little key for it. And I presume that Utini is insisting on checking all of this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I assume that too.
As overconfident as I am, I do not make any improvements because they haven't paid me to make improvements.
Good point. I would like a couple of perception rolls from you two.
Makes it by 2.
Okay. Perception is the per or just your IQ, since I don't think Rotini has any special...
Look, if it doesn't have a display screen, I'm usually not that interested in it.
On the other hand, your perception is 15 because that's what your IQ is. So,
It's
there
minus
it is.
5 because I don't have that. Actually, yeah, perception is 15. Yes, it says it on here. So I made it by 5.
You made it by 5. Okay, Utini is the first one to notice that there are a trio of people approaching. A human, a Twi'lek, and something, maybe kind of lizardy.
We've already split up, right?
You've already split up.
Okay.
Unless someone wants to call you.
Which is me whispering to say, don't look now, but I think someone wants our burlap sack.
Are we still, are we
You're
Are we
in
in
the you're in the garage with all of the hover cargo. You're in the U-Haul garage, basically. Think of it as a fairly long, flat parking garage with these smallish cargo hover vehicles. There's a open area out to one side that try not to fall out. It's got a force screen. You're supposed to pull out with the force screen, but you don't want to lean on that. And yeah, you don't have to roll smuggling or whatever. These look like 3 thugs who are clearly swaggering along towards you.
Okay. I'm going to continue to load the burlap sack into the taxi.
I am going to pull out one of my rotini cocktails that I made yesterday and just hold it like I might be thinking about drinking it. I'm not thinking about drinking it. I'm thinking about the last time I tried to drink it. I have learned my lesson. But they don't know that. Granted, I am interpreting truthfulness as I tend to speak the truth, not I make sure to never lie by omission.
Enough. If people ask you direct questions, you will have to make rolls to avoid telling them things or lying by omission. But if people are not actually asking you...
Well, let's put it this way. I didn't go into law enforcement because, the whole thing where, are you a cop? You have to tell me if you're a cop. And I just go, ooh, teeny.
And if they understand Jawa, then, well...
Who doesn't understand Jawa? Seriously.
Most people.
It's like the lingua Jawa of the Star Wars universe.
Well...
Which is not an untruth.
The human is reaching inside his jacket and going, hey, step away from the van.
Utini, we rented it fair and square.
Step away from the van and nobody gets hurt.
Utini, technically that is a true statement.
I'm letting Rotini do the talking. I'm still packing.
Well, yeah, because when you're done packing, we can leave.
Exactly.
Step away from the van, nobody gets hurt, and we've paid off the security here.
Utini, I'm going to say this slowly so you understand and can smell it right. Utini, thank you for paying off the security. That makes our job easier. Utini, we also don't want anyone to be hurt. That's not really good for business. Utini, we really need to deliver this, and if you decide that we shouldn't, the amount of money we're being paid supersedes your wishes. Utini, who wants a drink?
Where that? Yes, that's the one I want.
What'll be really funny
That's
is if none of them speak Jawa.
They don't necessarily seem to be acting like they understand it, which is a little bit difficult to tell.
Utini,
Okay.
Philistines. I say this while putting one hand to my forehead.
All right, they're probably...
Utini, you'd think in this cradle of civilization more people would speak such a sophisticated language, or at least be able to understand it and reply in basic.
Well,
by the way, I am fully prepared to throw the Rotini cocktail.
they have gotten to about 20 feet away. I mean, they were yelling. So yeah, probably. Well, also you have overconfidence. So,
Rotini, I sympathize. Some people just stink so much that they can't smell what you're putting out. Listen, I appreciate that you really want what's in the burlap sack here. And trust me, other people do too, because they're paying me a lot of money to give it to them. So you can go away or you can be on fire. Which one would you prefer?
Utini, pick fire, pick fire, pick fire, pick fire.
The other two scatter off to the sides, and the human draws a blaster pistol.
Okay, I'm a faster on mine.
It's the hugging the gun and the grin.
It's the
that make your fast draw. That
makes it by 5.
Okay, you have your blaster pistol out as well. Isn't it lucky that Shaddaa doesn't actually care that much about gun control?
Utini, just don't aim for that one human with the long ponytail and the white ribbon.
Fortunately, that was only... Yeah, that's a holo advertisement for a popular line of holovids over there. Yes, we will put CJ Cherry in as a popular line of holovids. So, we have the fun part now. We are going to have people who are going to shoot at each other. So, let's see.
I'm not shooting at anyone. I will merely be sharing my
remember how GURPS combat works.
Well, instead of rolling for initiative, we compare our speed. You compare your basic speed.
Okay, mine's 5.5.
Yours is 5.5, and that's Dex 12. That's H. How's that? That's computed with Dex, isn't it? Mostly Dex and HT, I think.
Oh, mine is also 5.5.
Right. Well, if I did my computations correctly, unfortunately, the person with the gun has a speed of 6. I think I did my computations good. No, it's not.
What do I need to roll to make lower be better?
Danger sense, combat reflexes. I don't think you have those. That's why they have the gun. No. Well, the danger sense is, but I don't believe you have it. It's an advantage.
Well, that means I need to roll a 10 or lower. That's a 9.
HT plus Dex divided by 4. That's what I thought it was. Which means that someone with higher HT gets... No, the speed is generally... That's one of the things that the advantages to fix it are really high. On the other hand, let's see. Is there something that would work usefully for that? I'm not sure a 9 is going to do it. A 9 is good, but I'm not sure 9 is going to do it. On the other hand, you can hang on to that because you might want to do some dodging.
Well, I don't want to hang on to the Rotini cocktail for too long.
True, you've probably pressed the button.
I mean, always press the red button. But no, that's the button that I press while I'm throwing. You don't cook these before you throw them. You throw them, and then they cook something else. And I'm really hoping the walls of my apartment are thick enough that someone isn't hearing me and going, what is happening over there?
Sort of thing. Okay. Oh, I love the speed range table. I love the speed range table. That is such a useful table because it means you're at a slight got some penalties there, which is good because the person fires a shot, which goes kazing off of the broadside of the barn, i.e. the van
Not the
that
barn.
you're next to. Indeed. Well,
They're
it's
gonna
not
let
a
the
barn.
cows out.
It's a van. It's a U-Haul van. It's a broadside.
We paid a deposit on it.
Tough luck. Okay, that is that one. The other two are seeking cover behind other vans, or, well, you're not seeing them very well. And this gives you, or you two, a chance to decide what you're doing.
So we haven't paid deposits on the other vans.
Correct.
What are the chances?
Presumably that's... Uh-oh.
Now, I was playing some Fallout 4 today, and one of the banes of my existence in Fallout 4 is when I've been involved in a shootout, and I win, but then the car next to me that has been sitting and just returning to nature for 200 years blows up and kills me. And they hid behind something that I'm pretty sure could explode if encouraged.
I mean, it's Star Wars. Everything explodes if encouraged.
Okay. Well, that might be additional collateral damage, but I am going to try to hit someone with my Rotini cocktail.
Who are you going to aim for? Some people have cover. The guy out there in front is apparently overconfident and does not have cover.
Well, I'm sure Azisha wants to feel used. So, Mr. Overconfident is there for Azisha to provide a learning opportunity. I'm going to aim for somebody who is in cover, because the cover might end up being a weapon. My destruction. Either I'm destroying them or it destroys me. One or the other. We'll find out together.
Okay. Throwing skill at the speed range table. Shut off to the side so it's not in my way there. Yes, that's good. Let's see. When they last split, they were approximately 7 yards away. That gives a -3 penalty to skill, plus they're behind cover. On the other hand, with explosives, close can count. You know, it's like they say, when close counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
And nuclear warfare.
Well, the definition of close is a lot different in that, so, you know.
But in this case, it's more like hand grenade because, yeah.
Uh-huh. So, you making a roll to throw the thing?
I would like to. Does an 8 do it?
Oh, let's see. What's your throwing skill? Your throwing is 16, because if you're going to be throwing explosives, you kind of need throwing. So that would make it by 8. Subtract 3. That makes it by 5. Yeah, you're probably going to be throwing that thing. And this means that I stupidly forgot to check what kind of damage explosives do. Fortunately, I think... Please tell me I've got weapons on this thing.
You know,
yes.
These hoodlums, for all of their misspent youth, you gotta admire their fashion sense. That one over there, by the way, his outfit is on fire.
Very likely. Oh, excellent. I have a Molotov cocktail on page 277 of the basic set.
I believe you mean Rotini cocktail.
Rotini cocktail. Okay. Yeah, so...
Named after its inventor.
Does indeed. Okay, so it has and that says see page 411. And I think page 411 is over here. Curse you. This is why I actually should have gotten some proper pages. Okay, 411. And here we go. Molotov cocktails, oil flasks. In theory, it bursts upon hitting hard surface. Well, this is sort of the high-tech one, but yeah, you rolled quite well. I assume you're kind of targeting the ground near where they last dodged behind something.
If it was a traditional Molotov cocktail where you just light a oil-soaked rag in it, I'd be aiming for the ground near them. But you already mentioned that it likely had a button on it, and I yes-anded that.
I mean, you're high-tech, so...
So
okay.
So long as it's close enough to them that it connects with something, we're going to get a show.
Well, it's going to connect with the ground or with another of the U-Hauls, high-tech U-Hauls.
Well, again, we didn't pay a deposit on that one.
Indeed, you didn't.
And they foolishly decided that it was their cover, which means they appropriated it.
Indeed, indeed. Let's see. Okay, so that would be 3D brain.
Sadly, the guards have been asked to look the other way, or they'd be able to verify that my story isn't true. Technically, my story is true.
I mean, it's true for some value of truth, certain point of view, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that
this is
see-through
where-
guy in the robe over there is agreeing with me. Nice beard, by the way.
Combat. There we are. Oh, come on. Where is that? Busy hit points. Attack from above. Where is that? It should be right there. Okay, we'll just call that another there. Okay, so let's see. It's the -3. Call it another -2 for the cover. That's 5, but you made it by 8. That's a +3. Okay, it's time to roll some things. Would you care to roll for damage? Damage being 3d6.
For a second, I thought you were going to tell me a different roll than the one I've been making since this campaign started.
As it happens, Molotov cocktails do 3d6 damage on that. And if that's not quite right, I'm not going to bother with it because I'd have to dig it up again. I'm not gonna.
Okay, well, I rolled a 10.
You rolled a 10. That is a certainly... Just out of curiosity, which one were you aiming for? The Twi'lek or the vaguely reptilian person?
The Twi'lek.
Okay.
The reptilian person might have some natural body armor that saves it from a little bit of the burning.
Indeed. Well, let's see. I'm going to make
I'll
a
have to throw
couple
a
of
different
rolls
explosive
here.
at them.
Will that roll? Is that rolling? Roll. That's not rolling at all.
Where are you trying to roll?
There we are. I am trying to roll.
Ah, you're out
That made
rolling
it
in
work.
Foundry.
I decided to roll in Foundry. Foundry is fun. Well, that's a good roll. So they actually get...
They're
Oh,
still
that's
alive, just very badly burned.
Okay. Just 1, 2. Oh, that's how to make it work. Okay. Why do I have a +3? Oh, that's what it's doing. Okay, now I understand how that works. So it's 1 and 6. That's okay. That is actually going to give them something of a dodge. So we're going to subtract. Okay. Yep. You hear screaming. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much you hit them for, but that is certainly worth some screaming there.
I know this music. Let's change the beat.
Alrighty. Why do we have thugs with impulsiveness? Wow, that was an interesting thing. Okay. It is now Zisha's turn.
Impulsiveness is a good trait. Don't knock it.
Why do I have thugs with impulsiveness? Zisha's turn. Sorry about all this, Zisha. Combat gets easier
Okay.
when I practice.
Well, I'm going to shoot the guy with my blaster.
You certainly appear to be shooting the guy with your blaster. I will say that is pretty obvious, and
2-2-1. Yes, that is a very good roll.
that is a very good roll.
Is that a
That is
crit,
an
or is
extreme-
that one too high to be a crit?
I
It's
believe
one
that-
shy of a crit.
Yeah, is one shy of a crit. So that is not going to make a dodge. Okay. We are using my homebrew on what blasters do, or
Oh, are we?
I was thinking
You're
of
the
doing that
GM.
because that was simple. That was simpler, and also it made lightsabers cooler. I did put those in, if I recall correctly. That is not what I wanted to open. Where is my? Is that my most recent one? Yes. Come here. I believe that I had been making the blasters. That's not my most recent one, is it? Is it? That's not my most recent one. How much damage do you think a blaster does? And I'll go with
Oh,
any
but
tweaks.
both the core rules and your thing say 3D.
Excellent. Oh, that's why I
And-
changed the divisor.
Yeah,
Okay. So you've got 3D on that as well.
I'm
Let's-
only doing 6.
Okay. That's a lot. This person isn't wearing armor. These are idle thugs. They're not wearing armor. Okay. Let me just...
I'm pretty sure canonically armor does nothing. Look at all the stormtroopers.
That's what an armor divisor is for, you see, though. That means that the amount of armor that they're wearing is like only 1 point of armor instead of, 3 or whatever. Also, lowest bidder. They're military. They got their armor from the lowest bidder. There's probably corruption in the Empire. You see where I'm going with this. There's a lot of yelling there. And then it is the turn for, thug number 1 is trying to... Thug number 1 is just got shot. Thug number 2 is slightly on fire. And reptilian thug number 3 comes charging through, waving a knife.
Look out, he's got a knife.
We proceed. That's not a knife. Io, are you okay not participating in this?
I mean, you can call for help.
I'd like to be involved, but I doubt I'm anywhere that I could, so.
I was just thinking it would be very serendipitous if you decided that you wanted to cap 2 in order to haul the supplies.
You have serendipity.
True. So yes, perhaps Zwolrock got a bit lost on their way to find a vehicle suitable for this, and they've finally gotten some directions and left a somewhat confused trail of spaceport people behind them.
And you're entering the bay of rental cargo units. Cargo floaters, flyers. What are these things called anyway? Hover cars. Hover vans. That's
car, and there's a hover car, and there's a hover car on fire.
And there's a reptilian person charging at people with a knife.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
And it's my turn.
The charging is happening, and it's going... I figure they're going to close on the next round because GURPS generally works with 1 second rounds. So...
can I try to force choke them?
Yes! You can certainly try to force choke them because the force is line of sight and does not need to be fast draw or anything else. At the very least, you can try to sort of grab them and make them go splat on the ground no.
So I would like to roll telekinesis, right?
Yep.
Line of sight. Is there a range, or is it just if you can see them, you can do it?
That's a success by only 2, but...
Let me quickly glance at a thing that I had open briefly, and then I closed again because I'm a fool. Basically with the Force, Vader was force choking people on other ships, and we've got Snoke who was throwing Hux around the bridge from who knows how far away. So
spy cam cloaked drone. I'm just making a mental note for another evening of building things.
I
Something to think about in the future.
Through a holo would impose severe penalties, since generally only very powerful force users are shown choking people through holos.
Yeah.
Look, if you can turn me into a cube, you count as very powerful.
I have not turned you into a cube thus far, and...
The ability to is not the same thing as has done.
I'm just saying, I think Rotini may have a slightly outsized idea of how good Zwolrock is at telekinesis.
I've never seen you fly, so not that good, but not as good as me yet. I'm sure you'll get there.
So,
You made it by how much?
Only 2.
Okay, so going by my homebrew rules, you're basically, if you were lifting something, that would be, you could lift about 20 pounds on that. I'm going to say...
Can I spend fatigue?
Yeah,
Is that a thing in your...
Yes, I believe I did, in fact, make a rule that you can spend fatigue on making things work more. Tra-la-la. Normally that's if you fail a roll, you can boost it with a +2 per 1 +1 boost. But if you succeed a roll and want to succeed by more, sure. 2 fatigue for point of boost.
I will spend 4 fatigue.
And that gets you +2, so that gives you, you could lift up to 40 pounds if it were lifting. That is, I think, definitely a suffocation, and searching on any rules for that is 436.
So
Easier
the
if I spell it correctly.
So the lizard person tried to cut our life into pieces, and now it's dealing with suffocation, no breathing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm down with that sickness.
Here we are. Yes. Chokehold, basically. This is an extremely distracting thing to have happen, to say the least.
Okay, I cannot really growl in real life, but Rock can growl, and does.
This is going to be extremely distracting. It does not cause choking this second. It will cause choking the next second.
All right.
Which is basically going to start taking down fatigue. And once you get to fatigue 0, people tend to pass out.
So next turn I will be rolling to maintain my grip.
Yep.
Okay.
And I will figure that you will be rolling just to maintain the grip and at that particular amount of strength because you did succeed. You aren't boosting a failure.
All right.
Next turn, top of the round is Thug number 1 who got shot. Thug number 1 is going to try to take cover and snap off a random shot back, which I go click, 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 and that makes it 3d6, and then I roll it on the thing. A 9 is, well, it's kind of a shame you paid the deposit on that one. So the question is, does Zisha want to be... You sure hope.
Because they're going to have
You
to
sure
pay it
hope,
back.
because somebody is.
After they
Zisha?
surrender, they're going to have to give us some money.
I'm sorry, my microphone was turned off. I'm definitely dodging.
Okay, give me some dodge roll just to make sure. Which way are you dodging? Backwards, forwards, under a hover van?
Away from the hover van that he shot the first time.
That's your hover van that has a stasis tube in it.
Yeah, I think away from that one.
Okay.
Not
so
like permanently, just
flinging yourself off to further away from that one.
right.
Okay.
And a 6 will beat a 9.
It most certainly will, yes. And for somewhat wild shots and whatnot that might or might not have hit, you're not sure, but honestly, you don't want to be there. And that's not even, if I recall, dodging isn't a contest. If you dodge, you dodge. Because
I think that's right.
Yeah, because dodge is a much lower skill level. Dodges are generally like, 8 at most, 9 sometimes. Whereas attack rolls can get pretty darn high. But active defenses, aren't they great? Okay, you have dodged out, and now it is Rotini's turn to decide what to do. I did not give you fast draw, so it will take you a turn to pull out something else, or you can be running around and pulling things out, or you can be talking. Talking is free action.
I am going to walk towards the hover car that I threw the Rotini cocktail over as I'm pulling out my bottle cap collection. Well, part of my bottle cap collection. I'm not going to carry the whole thing. For the record, my reasoning is while we established it was canon that I had a Molotov cocktail, I really can't see even Rotini, even this character, carrying several of them through a city street. So,
just saying, if you got pickpocketed.
So every explosive I'm going to use is unique for this. And this one is going to be the canonically created bottle cap collection, which I have to use this turn pulling out as I'm walking around to get better in range to toss this.
Okay. I assume, are you going to be walking around the side of this aisle? Okay, I'm
trying to flank the person who tried to flank us.
Okay, so you are basically going back and around, and yeah, I would love to just get your little thing out.
Flanking makes sense. It's why they tried to do it to us. Now I'm trying to do it to them. That it also has me moving further away from 2 of the combatants is totally a coincidence. But that's also happening.
At least it's 3. At least it's 3 on 3 now. So there's basically the central row, which is where they were coming out at. That's where thug number 1 is. And you are going to be not going into the central row, walk down the aisle of hover vans. You're going to be on the other side of them, I presume.
I'm overconfident, but I do have an IQ that's pretty high.
I think that's fair because it's not that difficult to choose the slightly more sensible method. Although you are also impulsive. Maybe I should make you make a control. Because
I'll roll it.
I think you roll it. Give me a control roll. Control rolls are not your IQ, though. They should say, okay, you got
No, this is funnier. That's an 11.
If I recall correctly,
For
your control rolls
impulsiveness
are
12.
12. Yep, you make it. You can, in fact, make your impulsiveness 1 and go, oh, wait, yes. There's overconfidence and there's stupidity.
I rolled for self-control, and I succeeded. No one is more surprised than me.
Apparently, the dice like you. The dice have been liking a lot of people. It's very strange.
Wait until I
Usually
start rolling
dice
in
hate
Foundry.
me.
We've seen how I roll in Foundry.
Mm-hmm.
A certain
I've
red
been rolling in
dragon would
Foundry.
like you to not see how I rolled in Foundry.
Rolling in Foundry, it's not been... my dice luck has been average. It's kind of nice.
It's almost as if they're random number generators and don't actually like or dislike anyone.
Yet, I'm sure they'll grow to decide.
Not with that attitude is the thing that one says, yes.
Indeed. Okay. This gives... All right. Zisha.
I'm going to shoot at the guy again.
Okay, you did dodge backwards away from him, so I assume at least... It is my understanding that when you dodged, you were dodging away from it. This is now going to be a certain amount of... He has cover from where you currently are, basically.
Yes, I'm assuming.
Okay.
That is not going to do it.
Well, I hope that someone paid the deposit on the ceiling. It certainly shows that you are still there and you are still shooting. Let's see. The next up is the lizardy person who is... Let's see, whose next turn is it that it's the choking starts on? That the fatigue loss starts on? Window. This one. Yes. Your next turn. Okay. He is, well, we assume a he. We're not actually quite sure what. Basically flailing around, clutching throat, and is going to try to make a will roll to do something useful, which is certainly going to be interesting because I rolled another 9, and let's just say that's not high enough.
So they haven't thought you have a knife, you could throw it, or maybe they dropped the knife.
He's still clutching the knife, does not seem to realize where the choking is coming from, is sort of crawling vaguely around, not being very useful about it. Has fallen down to knees and is going clutch, what is going on?
I think they're being very useful. Not for their side, but it is something that's a morale boost.
Definitely. And would our resident force user care to... Let's see...
Would I care to what?
Make a roll to maintain your concentration.
Oh, is it my turn?
The other person is not doing anything useful because they're trying to put themselves out, because fire.
Success by 6.
Okay, that will hold what you've got, and you don't have to spend additional fatigue or anything, because, as I say, it's a success, and I am winging this house rule right now. Winging a prayer.
We've been playing for close to 2 hours, so this is the time of house.
Oh, indeed, it totally is. Do we want to work on continuing things, or do we want to take a break?
I would like to inform this person that... I would like to inform the hangar that you should all drop your weapons if you don't want to be throttled.
Utini, but you can keep the fire. That's a freebie.
Are you using any kind of intimidation or other actual influence?
If you desire me to roll intimidation, I will roll intimidation.
I would say that rolling intimidation sounds like a reasonable thing to do. The question is, do we want to penalize skills for the fact that you're concentrating or No, we don't penalize mages for that, do we? So we won't. No penalties for non-force skills. At least ones that involve just talking.
Success by 4.
Success by 4. Okay. Let me do a few rolls. Okay, let me do a quick check on something since I have rolled a 12, a 6, and an 11. And that's actually going to work out entertainingly. Oh, I like this. And they all have that? Yes, they all have that. Well, okay, that's that one. That's the one who's on fire. The one who's on fire is not happy. Oh, has high pain threshold.
They got
That's
free
useful.
fire. They didn't even have to pay for it. I paid for it. Okay, I used stuff out of the mess hall. The galley.
Well, no one has stubbornness, at least. The one who you're choking does, in fact, drop the knife that presumably we'll just go with that. This is a very burly one, but I mean, reptilian, you never know. The females might have dimorphism advantage in strength. The human one is going, fine. We're not getting paid enough for whatever that's happening. And the Twi'lek is not saying anything, but then the Twi'lek is behind things and there's fire coming out from that area. There's stuff that's burning over there. So rotating over, the human is actually not firing this turn and is going, what's going on? Don't know what's going on. You people are too well armed. What the heck? He is, however, still taking cover. Should we take a break for this, since we may have broken combat?
Sure.
I think
Let's take 5 minutes.
That might be wise.
Okay, we'll take 5 minutes and I will remember what's going on, and I will make the cat go away. He keeps touching me.
Okay. Hitting pause. Hey, this is Crash coming in while editing this. We wrapped up and called it a night. We had been playing for over 2 hours, and we didn't have it in us to continue that evening. So we are going to continue this in the future. Hopefully, looking forward to that. Special thanks to Beth for GMing this. You can find her stuff at elizabeth-mccoy.com, where she writes a bunch of books. And also we have our Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. Help us keep the lights on, along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Shen, Walter, and patron emeritus Cindy. And until next time, Utini.